Hey guys, so first of all, happy Earth Day. I wanted to bring to you today a video that talks about what's going on today and the Earth. So Earth Day is a day to just remember to take care of the Earth, to do our part, to respect the Earth and honor it since it is our home. This is the place we live, this is our future, the future generations, our children, their children, grandchildren, so on and so on. So today I want to talk to you about what you can do to help preserve this beautiful place we call home. And I know a lot of times people say, you know, I want to do my part, I want to help, I want to stop climate change, I want to, you know, be a part of making sure this earth is here for future generations, but what can I do exactly? How can I make an impact? And I want to share with you today a few things that you can easily implement into your life to help do your part in helping to protect the earth and also to stop climate change. And it really is going to take a lot of us to do this. And I know a lot of people say also, oh, well, I'm just one person, I can't do anything. But I'm going to go through some things that you can do as an individual, as a family. You can tell your family, your friends about, and hopefully get them on board too. And you do make a difference. One person does make a difference because you might also be able to pass the message along. What you do is definitely affecting the planet. The choices that we make every day affects the planet, which is part of the circle of life. It affects other people, it affects you, your family, it affects nature, animals, everything. We are all one in this. So if you do something, you can also maybe inspire somebody you know to do something similar or get on board, or even to just research it a little bit more for themselves and hopefully make some changes so we can help protect this beautiful place we call Earth, our home. It is an amazing place. The world is beautiful. I can tell you firsthand. I have seen some of the most beautiful things and places in the world, and the earth itself is very, very beautiful, and it does deserve respect and correct treatment. And that's why I want to give you guys some helpful tips that you can do to hopefully implement and help during Earth Day and every day thereafter. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you want to see more from us, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. The first thing is going to be recycle. So if you can, I think recycling is a big thing. You can separate all your trash. You can put your plastics and your papers and your cans or aluminum all in separate bins and recycle them properly. That definitely helps things to get reused so we're not generating more trash. And that's going to bring me to my next subject, which is using less plastic. So especially single-use plastics. I understand survival, you know, you need to buy things, you need to live your life, you need food, and sometimes that food comes in plastic wraps, and that's out of your control, which I understand. I'm human too, I deal with it all the time. But you don't think that you can make a difference as one person, and how are you going to even stop big companies from producing plastic and producing waste like this? But I'm going to get to that next, because there is something you can do to make a difference in the bigger picture. So something you as a single person can definitely do to help in the bigger picture of things that will make a big impact. So I will go to that next, but I wanted to talk about the stop using single-use plastics. And basically, if you want to buy like water bottles or anything that you buy as plastic, you use it once and then you throw it away. That's a single-use plastic. So for example, water bottles, containers that your food comes in, or just containers that hold anything really. If it's plastic, try and reuse it if you can. I understand sometimes it's unavoidable to buy things that come in plastic. But you can do things to reduce your intake of plastic. Also, for example, instead of buying water bottles and gallon water jugs, maybe you can invest in a filter system. Now, this is plastic, but it's a plastic filter system, you know, one of those filter bottles that you can pour tap water in, and it converts it to water that is healthy to drink. And that is going to be good for you because you're going to save money, first of all, and second of all, it's better for the earth because you're going to reuse that plastic for as long as you can, for many, many years to come. So it's just the point of not totally reducing plastic out of your life, but making smart choices and getting things that you can reuse. Also, for example, if you need peanut butter, for example, they have peanut butter that comes usually in plastic, right? Instead of just taking that plastic after it's empty and you're done, go ahead and wash it and reuse it. Put something else in it. Save your money or your coins. Put in little notes and memorabilia in there, seashells from the shore and the beach, something like that. So it's just thinking a little bit more about what you can do with that thing that you're taking. So this is all more just about being conscious of things you're doing on a daily basis, because that does matter every day what you're doing. If you're, even though you're saying, oh, I'm one person, doesn't make a difference, any person that does this is going to make a difference, because think about it, less plastic you buy, the less plastic is in the world, and that's always better. Less is better when it comes to this kind of thing. So you want to try and reuse plastic if you must buy it, but this all starts when you're buying things, shopping, grocery shopping, or buying things online, or just going to the store. Look at it and think, can I reuse this, or is it really not necessary? Try and buy things that aren't in plastic, and if you must, try and reuse it. If you can't reuse it, then you can recycle it. So that's the best way to kind of go through each step. Again, it's not about being perfect, but about being conscious of what you're doing and the choices that we're making, because the choices definitely define what's going to happen in the future to the earth and to society, humanity. This also goes for the way animals are going to be, and also the earth. For example, I just want to tell you a story quickly. A few weeks ago, I was in the Falkland Islands. This is an island. It was a isolate island, so there was no people there, and it was isolated. It was just me and the group that I went with to the Falkland Islands. This is on the east coast of Argentina in South America, and we were there. There's no people there, yet there was plastic and waste and trash all over the beach. And it just shows you that you think that, you know, you're buying something and you're throwing it in the trash, but where is that really going, you know? Or if you're littering, which is just, I never understood people that litter. Throw things, it's better to throw it in the trash than to litter. It's better to recycle than throw in the trash. You know, there is a line that you can go down, but try and do your best to make smart choices. Don't throw something on the floor, throw it in the trash, recycle it, even better, reuse it if you can, even better. Don't buy it, you know, so it takes time, and other things take time, but with time you can eventually get better and better at it. So the point is, I saw the trash all over the beach, and there were penguins and other animals, birds, and, you know, also whales that are in the sea, and sea lions and seals. They all pick up this trash and they eat it, and a lot of them die. I saw dead animals all over the place because they're eating this trash that we're consuming. Sometimes we don't think about it because, and there's no blame where we were brought up like this. It's a society. It's nobody's fault if we're being conscious, but we need to realize what we're really doing and where our waste is going, because we're buying things, we're not thinking about it, and we're just throwing it away, and we're not really thinking about who that really affects. And after that goes to sometimes the ocean, and animals are eating that, like whales or seals, different animals under the ocean, and that actually kills them. Think about if you ate a piece of plastic, it's not meant for your body, it's not meant for their body, and it lasts forever. Plastic doesn't decompose, it's around forever, and these animals, they don't understand what it is. They don't make it, they don't produce these kind of things, so they sometimes ingest it, and they think it's food, and it's really bad for them, and it kills them. So we are really disrupting the ecosystem, and the ecosystem is all tied to us. The animals are connected to the earth, and the earth is connected to us, and we're connected to animals, and it's the circle of life. So everything goes together, and we really need to think about the choices that we're making so we can protect other living beings and nature, and we can also protect our future for this planet. So that's really important. The next thing also brings me to taking public transportation. So this also works with traveling or in your daily life. We want to really try and start using more public transportation. I'm from the US, I know how it is. I have a car. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm human and I understand. I love my car. I love having a car. I need a car, especially here in the US. Things are very far apart from each other. You kind of need a car to get from point A to point B, but maybe look at it in a different way. Maybe you don't need to drive your car. Again, this goes back to thinking, okay, I need to go somewhere. Can I walk there? Can I take a bus there? Can I call an Uber or a Lyft, one of these ride shares? Or can we even carpool together? So doing things like this when it comes to traveling or also being home will help to lower emissions into the atmosphere that we don't really need, that's hurting the environment. By putting more people into a car, whether it's a ride share or carpooling with friends or family, you're gonna help, release less emissions from cars, and also taking a bus might help as well. And if you can walk, walking is great. Walking is one of my favorite things to do. I know things sometimes you can't walk to, but if you can, think about it first. If you can, it's a good choice. It's gonna get you healthier, put you in better shape. It feels good, it makes you happier. It's a little bit of exercise, so it's really good for health, and you're helping the environment as well. Also, this is one thing I wanted to talk about. I know a lot of people can't afford hybrid cars. I know they're very expensive. I'm hoping that will change soon, but if you do have the means and the money, think about investing in a hybrid car. It's really cool right now. It's the cool thing to have, so that's also great, but it will help the environment, and I'm hoping we can soon enough switch. But take a look into hybrid cars and see if it's something that is feasible for you, and if you can do it, I think that's a great way to help. Every little bit helps, and that will help to help the environment as well. I also want to talk about eating less meat. Now, I have recently kind of transitioned into a more vegan, plant-based diet. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to stop eating meat. I'm realistic. I understand sometimes it's a method of survival. You need to put food on the table, but it's more just being conscious and slowly trying to eliminate more meat off of your plate, out of your house, off of your menu list in the restaurants, because we all know, we've heard it, at least I hope we have, that meat produces a lot of CO2 carbon emissions into the atmosphere. We know that meat is one of the worst things for the environment. So if you can slowly try to reduce meat and dairy from your diet, that's gonna really help. I'm not saying cut cold any kind of meat. I know it's a society thing that we have built in our mind to eat meat and protein and all of that, but there are other ways to get protein. There are other sources of protein. You can get protein from beans and peanut butter and tofu. I know some people are not into that, but it's all about making little changes and slowly, gradually getting to where you might want to be, or learning to get there eventually. You might not want to be all that way, but I'm telling you, it happens. You start little by little, and then eventually you develop habits into a different kind of lifestyle, which will benefit yourself. It's healthier for you, your family, and also for the environment. So it's all win-wins all around. And what I'm saying is, basically, when you're going grocery shopping or going out to eat, try little by little. Just try to reduce your meat intake. Try not to buy as much meat as you usually do. And eventually, if you can, it would be great to eliminate meat products completely together out of your diet. But I know that doesn't happen right away. I know it takes time. And even if you never get there, just by reducing your meat intake as much as you can, little by little, or just a little, however much you want to, that is gonna help. Because the less meat that we consume, the less meat is going to an emission. So let's all try and do our best and try and reduce meat as much as we can and our consumption of it. I also wanted to talk about one thing. This is a big problem right now. I'm not sure if you know, you should, but we are very overpopulated in the world. The world is overpopulated with people. So one thing that we can do is we can try to have less children. I know people love to have children, and that's good. I do believe in family, and I do believe in having children, but if we can try to think about what we're doing and try and not have as many children as we are, that's gonna help too. There's already way too many people on this earth. The earth cannot handle it anymore. We are polluting and destroying, whether we mean to or not. I'm not blaming anybody. We're not guilty. We are destroying the planet without even knowing it, most of us. So we are kind of the cause to all of this, but the less people we have, the less damage there is, and that's just honest truth. So if you can think about children and having children. You know, there's also a lot of children out there that don't have families. There's adoption. There's other things that already people are out there. I'm not against having children, just maybe think about how many children we're having, because I think that definitely will help with the problem, because we have so many people right now. We need less population on the earth, or else we're not going to stand a chance. All right, and the last one, and this is actually the most important thing to me. I told you in the beginning that I would get back to this, and this is basically, how can we as individuals make a big impact? We might say, you know, I'm just one person and I can't make a big change. I don't have a lot of say in how big corporations or, you know, the government, or how anything works, the laws, all that. But actually you can. And I think this is one of the most important things you can do. You can do all those other things, the list, and those will make a difference. Those little changes every day, I promise they do make an impact. But what I want to talk about, I think, is a really big thing, is electing our leaders and supporting government that is agreeing that there needs to be changes. So we really need to start looking at our government. We need to start looking at our leaders that we choose. If you're fortunate enough to come from a country like the United States or another country where you can elect your own leaders, I know some countries you can't, but I think I'll get to that as well, how we can help in other countries. Even though, like, I'm from the US, I can make a difference in my country by choosing leaders that acknowledge there's a problem, acknowledge climate change, and want to implement laws that will help to reduce all the damage that we have created. So I think that's really important. And they can also put different laws and different provisions that will affect companies and how they produce things, and how much meat is being put out there, and how much plastic is being put out there, and how much travel is allowed. All those things, you know, doesn't mean all of that's going to stop. It will still be available, but they are the ones that are going to make the decisions, and on the big scale of things, to be able to help the world become better again. Now, we might be looking at other countries and say, well, I don't live in that country and their leaders are doing these things and they don't really care about, you know, climate change or the way things are happening. But you know how we can do our part is, again, by electing those officials, electing those leaders in our own country. What we can do, what we have our hand in, and they will be the ones to speak with other countries, to speak with other leaders, to help implement other things that will help with the world, that will help the earth breathe and survive in the best way possible. So we really do have a hand in everything. We really do have a lot of impact, and we have a choice, and we really are more powerful than we think we are. I hope you enjoyed my talk and my points. If you have any other questions or any questions about what I said, or if you have any tips on helping to preserve the earth for future generations, to be healthy for ourselves and for others, and we want to help the environment, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I want to hear if you have anything else to add to this. I love hearing new things, and share it with the world as well. It's really good. And again, happy Earth Day. Let's protect this beautiful place that we live, our home. It's a wonderful place, and we want to make sure that it is surviving and thriving for many, many, many generations to come.